You're in the Business Insurance Zone with me, Steve Savant, national financial columnist and money color commentator. This week on The Biz, employee stock ownership plans. And on today's show, our very special guest, Coretti Tuioti, nationally recognized ESOP expert, right here on The Biz.
When it comes to life insurance, annuities, long-term care, disability, or group pension plans, we're the news you can use.
Well, welcome everyone to the Business Insurance Zone. I'm your host, Steve Savant, and we're broadcasting live to a nationwide audience of financial advisors right here in Fountain Hills, Arizona, home of America's largest fountain. And with me today, day two on all that is ESOP, Coretti Tuioti. Welcome to our show,
Thank you,
Coretti.
Steve. It's a pleasure to be here.
We're talking to Coretti because there is not a lot of people out on the web talking about this, and you really niche this out as an area of expertise. I mean, you know estate planning, you know business succession planning, you know about retirement income planning, but right here, this is a niche, ESOP planning, and I didn't realize until we started talking how flexible this is, and this is a huge ability for your practice to pivot into those three areas: estate planning, business succession planning, and retirement planning.
Well, I'll tell you a little story that I had. You know, we come into the business to do good things for our clients and then, of course, for ourselves. And this is the only time when I set up an ESOP where when we did the rollout for this small company, the employees gave us a standing ovation. And I thought, I called my wife up afterwards and said, hey, you know what? I need to do more of these. Because this is this is why I came into the business. So to do good things where it benefits the employer, the owner, as well as the employees. And that's what the ESOP opportunity provides for all of us.
How does the employee win? I can see how the employer wins. I get that. How does the employee win?
Very, very good question. See, once the employee understands that he or she can be an owner, then the opportunity to do well in his or her job becomes better, because now, no one washes a rental, right? A rental car. So if I know I own it, then I am going to be more efficient with what I do at work. I'm going to be better as an employee. And as a result, the value of the ESOP or value of my company will go up, because as the value of my company increases, so will my benefit when I retire. That's how the employee benefits. And then with all the other benefits that will be provided for by an employee-owned entity. And that's significant for the employee today.
So you have good management in place.
You should.
It's really huge for employees. This can be this is the game. They've always they've been on the clock. They're hourly employee. Now they have skin in the game.
That's exactly. See, you and I are used to, we come in, we work, we get a salary, right? And we never participate in the growth of the company. Yes, the company may provide other benefits like a 401k, maybe a defined benefit, maybe some executive benefit planning along the way if I'm a key executive. But I don't participate in the growth of the company. And ESOP allows for me as an employee to participate in that growth as a result of my contributions, my positive contributions going forward. And also it allows for me and for the company to gain the benefit of having me stay long term.
Now, when we were talking earlier yesterday, let's just go down this because I want to make sure we get this. Let's talk about the advantages of doing it as a C Corp. And the advantages of an S Corp, and then let's just try to see if we can go, why would I want to go from C to S?
Good question.
Yeah.
Well, the significant advantage really for the C Corp, they all benefit everybody, right? The owner's benefits, the employee benefits, but let's talk about the owner first of all with a C Corp. The C Corp, the owner gets the tax-free benefit we talked about earlier, the rollout, right? Pays no capital gain on the rollout of the cash as a result of the purchase by the ESOP trust. So that's the benefit there. The benefit to the company is that this is the only type of qualified plan where the company can borrow money to buy out the selling shareholder. So that's a significant gift. It's the only qualified plan under our law that the company can go out to a third party and borrow money to purchase the stock. So that's a benefit. The other benefit is that under the law, the company can repay back that debt via pre-tax dollars. And it's under the law, the principal and interest are all deductible because of the contributions from the company to the ESOP, which are tax deductible, allows for the ESOP to pay off the debt. So you're looking at an opportunity for the owner to retire his or her stock with pre-tax dollars.
So this is huge tax advantage.
It's huge tax advantage.
Across the board.
Across the board.
What about, now, do we lose a little bit of that glamour here when we go to S?
Yes, we do. Okay. We don't have the advantage, Steve. That's a very, very good point, a very, very good question. We lose the advantage of a rollout. We don't get the benefit of a rollout with an S corporation. What we get is a company, it's an entity, if it's 100% owned by the ESOP, to be really a tax-exempt trust or a tax-exempt entity going forward. So now the owner is going to receive his or her cash over time, right? Typically we set up a trust. The owner is going to be, instead of borrowing money, the owner is going to be the lender. So the owner is going to give back it's going to take a note from the company for the value of his stock or her stock. And then over time now, because the company is now tax-exempt, the huge tax advantage to the entity, it pays no taxes on its profits. And now the company is flush with cash. The company has the ability to retire the note.
A lot of these owners of the, with the ESOP plans, I mean, we just came off the fiscal cliff. The tax bracket for high, high affluent, middle class, and upper middle class, and lower middle class wealthy. I mean, everything went up. So when I'm looking at this, these are huge tax advantages to really look at as ways to mitigate what has just occurred, and especially even in capital gains. That's right. So I really look at ESOPs as a huge tax advantage play, whether it's C or S. When we come back from the break, I want to talk about, all right, but now you gave me the advantages of a C, you gave me the advantages of an S. What are the real advantages of going from C, which sounds like a pretty good deal? Why would I ever want to go to an S?
That's a great question.
To me, I want to know. When we come back from the break, we're going to talk about that. And remember, this could be a huge way to build out your business, a huge way to take your practice to the next level. And everybody's always telling me, Steve, I need to find some niche where I can live. And remember, while you're on the learning curve, Coretti will help you on that. When we come back from the break, we're going to continue to address ESOP planning and how it integrates into your practice. Hey, and don't forget to enroll in our IULUniversity.com for the best training, education, and sales support when it comes to life insurance for retirement income.
You're listening to the insurance industry's #1 resource for products, planning ideas, carrier information, and interviews you can use. When it comes to life insurance, annuities, long-term care, disability, or group pension plans, we're the news you can use.
Did you know the average 401k runs out of money just 7 to 8 years into retirement? Time Magazine, the Wall Street Journal, and many other publications have warned of the difficulty of saving with a 401k. But what if there was a way to create tax-free lifetime retirement income with no stock market risk? Good news, there is.
Living in fear of the next market dive is not the way I want to live my life.
Why would I go out there and take on risk when I don't need to?
I have a lot less stress knowing I can't lose any more of my retirement savings in the stock market.
Call now to receive your free, no-obligation analysis of what this retirement vehicle could do for you, a comparison to your current retirement plan, and a free video that explains this exciting opportunity. Start planning a retirement you can enjoy instead of worrying about future tax increases and stock market losses. Creating income that will last your entire life is the most important thing you'll ever do. Take control of your future. Call now for your free analysis, comparison, and video.
Well, welcome back to the Business Insurance Zone. I'm your host, Steve Savant. And remember, you can order today's giveaways at thebiz.tv. And what are we giving away today? Our mini manual on ESOPs, kind of our introduction, elementary ed, kind of entry level. I don't want you to say, Steve, this sounds so deep. It is complicated in some areas, but what we're trying to do is separate, is this a C Corp? Is this an S Corp? Or how do I migrate from a C to an S, which we're going to get into in a second. But remember, before you move forward with anything you hear on our show today and all this week, especially since we're talking about ESOPs, a lot of tax advantages, always consult your tax advisor. And of course, if you're FINRA licensed, always check in with your broker-dealer compliance officer before moving forward. And when we're talking about ESOPs, I want to be able to say this is so complicated, and yet your own broker-dealer lets you talk about this. You have PowerPoints out. You've spoken for Pac Life, ING, other carriers about this. So they really look to you as a person who's an expert on this. And this is why I want you to know that not just having Coretti on our show, but he also is part of our mentoring program where you say, Steve, I think I have clients for this, but I'm just too afraid that I'm not really up to speed enough. This is a perfect thing. We've had Ken Davis on. He takes a lot of our guys through Section 79. You will not be alone. We're not going to orphan you. We're going to walk you through this and how this works. And it's an excellent tool. Now, before we hit the break, we talked about CNS. But now, why? See, I'm looking at these advantages. It sounds pretty cool. I think I'd want to stay the C route. But why would I go from a C Corp and then recharacterize my entity into an S? What's the advantage there?
I'll come to that in a moment, but I want to just follow up on your comment, the advantage for the advisor. That's where we play a very significant role, Steve, in this process. You know, clients have their attorneys and CPAs, but they really can't put this together. Only the agent can put this together because they get to go right deep into the kinds of questions that you're asking today. And the advantage, coming now to your question, there is a best of both worlds. You know, you can't lose them either way. It depends on what the client wants to do. The best of both worlds is that you have your C Corp, sell it tax-free so that the client pays no taxes on the rollout and defers that capital gain for as long as he or she wants.
And the dividends?
And the dividends, they continue to participate in the dividends on the
and do I pay tax on that?
They will pay taxes on that, but remember, you know, that's a favorable tax rate, right? Compared to paying capital gain right away on let's say a $3 million sale. Now, this is where the estate planning comes in, because that stock, now they've rolled out tax-free, they'll never pay taxes on that. So let's say that $3 million grows to $6 million and they pass away. Well, there's a step up on basis. Then it's tax-free to the heirs still. And that's where the life insurance comes in. You've got to make sure you have the liquidity to pay the estate taxes. But you're looking at a significant tax advantage process. Now, for an owner who wants to do that, and then look into converting to an S corporation to take advantage of the tax-exempt entity, they can do that as well. So the best of both worlds is do the C Corp transaction, sell his stock or her stock via a sale like that. You know, do 30% now, pay off the note, come back later, do another 30% until the entire note is retired or the entire stock is out of the company, and then convert the C to an S in order for the employees to take advantage of the tax.
In that chronology too, right?
That's right,
in
that chronology.
Satisfy the C first.
C first.
Then I can migrate over to
That's
catch
right.
the exemption issues that are with S.
That's correct.
Now, how many times, when you look at this, how many ESOPs have you done where they actually do what you've just proposed, getting the best of both worlds and using the C, establishing it, getting it done, and then moving over to the S?
It all depends on the situation. You know, that's a very good question. Everything depends on the situation. Some, you know, the most recent one, we did it that way. We converted to a C in order to eliminate the liability, the income tax liability for the client, and then immediately after that, or shortly after that, the conversion occurred for the S Corp so that the company could maintain its tax-exempt entity going forward, which is huge, very, very significant.
Do you find many fiduciaries, do they actually understand these plans? I mean, whether it's a tax attorney or a CPA?
You have to really specialize in this field. And there are attorneys and CPAs who specialize. And these are the attorneys and the CPAs that I partner with. And so when we come into a situation, I will do the discovery. That's my role. I come in and I'll do the discovery with another agent, and we will work through with the issues with the client, and we'll determine which pivot, whether we pivot to a C or we'll pivot to an S. And oftentimes, it may not result, Steve, even in an ESOP. It may result into where we pivot to an estate plan. I think you and I talked about this earlier. Is that initially, you come in, the client's very interested in taking out his or her equity out of the company. But during the discovery, we may find out that, no, the client really actually wants to keep the company for the benefit. His children are not interested, but the grandchildren have an interest. So now, instead of doing an ESOP where the client wants to sell to the employees, the client says, no, I want to keep this as a legacy for my children. Now, instead of an ESOP, we pivot to estate planning.
What kind of data collection do I need to collect from our viewers right now so that you can look at this and see how to move forward in a first contact employee scenario?
The same process that anybody would go through in determining whether a company would qualify for a 401k plan. You know, census, financials of the company, financials of the owners, just a very basic data.
Well, how much of business evaluation do I need to do on this as well?
None whatsoever. That comes later. That comes later. What we want to do is we want to determine, we'll do a suitability analysis first. We'll go through there's a process that we take a client through, suitability, and then later on feasibility, and that's where the evaluation comes in.
So we can use traditional data collections that we have now, and then plug those in, and then they need, and I always recommend if you're going to use people like Ken Davis, like Coretti, always give them a little pastoral letter to kind of give us what's going on, because raw data is just not enough.
That's right.
Remember, you can watch this show and all our shows this week by clicking the red on-demand video button right on our homepage at brokersalliance.com. Well, that's the Buzz on the Biz for today. Get in the zone, the business insurance zone.
You're listening to the insurance industry's #1 resource for products, planning ideas, carrier information, and interviews you can use. When it comes to life insurance, annuities, long-term care, disability, or group pension plans, we're the news you can use.